Welcome to this week's Hebrew class, and this week we'll be doing Yehuchanan John 11 verses 44 to 48. So let us now begin, and as usual I always show the Nikud vowel markings and the resources with a table to show you how to use your vowels. And let us begin. And of course, we have 44, and it's represented by the mem, which has a value of 40, and a dalet, which is the fourth letter of the alphabet, and therefore it has a value of 4. So we get 44. So let us begin going through the letters, and we have a vav, a yod, a zadeh, aleph, hey, mem, tav, vav, yod, dalet, yod, vav, Vav, Resh, Gimel, Lamed, Yod, Vav, Kaf, Resh, Vav, Kaf, Tav, Bet, Tav, Kaf, Resh, Yod, Kaf, Yod, Nun Sofit, Vav, Fe, because there's no dot in it, a Nun and a Yod and a Vav. So let's read it. Va, Yet, Say, which means and came out, because we know that yetze is to depart, to exit, to go out, right? So we get and came out with the use of the vav in front of it. It tells us that the completed action, and came out, ha met, the dead, the yadav, and his hands, and we see there's yad there, which we know is hand, right? And with the yod, it's a plural, so, and his hands. V'rag leiv, and his feet. Kerukot, wrapped. So how do we get that? If we look down here, we got karuk is an adjective meaning wrapped, bound, or wound. And then we've got betak rikin, in burial shroud. If we look down here, we've got takrik, which is a masculine noun for shroud, meaning a burial shroud. And then we've got ufanaiv, and his face, because we know that panai, or panay means face. So therefore, in the vav at the end means his, and the u at the front means and. So that's how we get the breakdown, and his face. And the normal English is the deceased came out, his hands and his feet, wrapped in burial garments, and his face. So now we're going to turn to reading it without the transliteration. Va'yetse ha-met, v'yadav, v'raglav, kerukot, betakrikin, ufanav. Right, and then we're turning to part B, and the letters are lamed, vav, but remember that's a u sound. Then we got tet, yod, mem sofit, bet, samek, vav, dalet, resh, vav, yod, aleph, mem, resh, aleph, lamed, yod, hey, mem sofit, yod, hey, vav, shin, ayin, hey, tav, yod, resh, vav, aleph, tav, vav. And now let's read it. And it is lutim, covered. If we look down here, lut, so it's like a singular, it's an adjective. It means covered, wrapped, enclosed. So lutim is covered, besudar. The be is in, and sudar. If we look down here, sudar is a masculine noun for head, kerchief, scarf, shawl. So I use shawl. In a shawl. Vayomer, And he said, because without a pronoun, it's always he, right? Aleihem, unto them. Hem is them. Yahushua, that's the one speaking. Ha-tiru, hatiru, you unravel. So the u is like you. He's telling them you and unravel. So let's have a look. Hitir is the verb to loosen, to unravel, or to free. It's any of those words. So unravel I'd prefer because we know he's wrapped in a shawl. So unravel, and then oto, him, unravel him. And his face, from the previous verse, covered with a head scarf. Yeshua said to them, release him. And I prefer to use the word shawl because we know, like a talit, it was like a talit that covered the head, so it wrapped around his head. Right, so now let us read that without the help. And it is Lutim Besudar Va Yomer Eleihem Yahushua Ha-tiru Oto. Right, and now we turn to part C. And we have a Vav, Yod, Lamed, Kaf Sofit, Lamed, Dalet, Resh, Kaf, and Vav. And first we get the Yelek. Now we know lek means to go. So normally you would say Yelek means will go, and Vayelek could mean went. But in context, it can be used like this, and let him go. And then it is le dar ko. So we know the root word is direct, right? Direct, which is a feminine noun. It means way, road, manner, or route. So, and then the lamed is to, and the vav at the end is his. To his way. Release him and let him go on his way. It's normally how it's translated. Interestingly, I added this, darak. Darak was a kal verb and it meant to step on, to walk on. So we get the idea, to walk on. So, and just quickly read that. The Yelek Ledarko. Right, now we're turning to verse 45, and of course is represented by the mem again, and then a hey. Hey is the fifth letter of the alphabet. We should be getting used to that by now, so that we know the numbering. And then we have a vav, resh, bet, because it has a dot, yod, mem sofit, mem nun sofit, hey yod, hey vav, but it's an u sound, dalet yod mem sofit, aleph shin, because the dot's on that side, resh, bet again, aleph, vav, aleph, lamed, mem, resh, yod, mem sofit. So let's read that. The rabim, rav, if we remember, means much or many, right? So then rabim is like the plurality of much. So it's many. And many, min meaning from, ha-Yehudim, the Yehudim, of course that means the Jews, asher, which, because asher can be which, that, who, however you want to use it. So we'll use it as which, ba'u, which means they had come. So it could be whom they had come or who they had come. Because it's they, because it's got a pronoun on the end. So it means it's relating to the Yehudim. They had come. El is to Miriam. Miriam. Now, many people will say it's Miriam, but Miriam is how it's spelled, to Miriam. And then in the English, many of the Jews who had come to Miriam. Right, now let's read that. V'rabim min ha-Yehudim asher ba'u el Miriam. Right, now we move to 45b and we have a bet, resh, aleph, vav, tav, mem sofit, aleph, tav, aleph, shin, resh, ayin, sin because the dot's there, hey, yod, hey, vav, but u sound, shin, ayin, hey, aleph, mem, yod, nun, vav, but a u sound, vet because there's no dot, and vav, but a no sound because the dot's up there. And then we read it. Bir otam, bir otam. Now the bet is in, the is them, and we have in the middle ro or ra'ah. And we know that ra'ah is a colour verb to see, to notice, to perceive. So therefore, I've translated here in them seeing. Because it's an O up there, it could be termed as a participle, so it's often shown as seeing. In them seeing, at grammar marker, asher, which in this case could be what? Sa. Now there's no pronoun, so it's he did. Yahushua, and that's the one doing it. Or of course some will say Yahusha. He'eminu. Now, he'emin means to believe. So therefore the pronoun is at the end, meaning they believed. Because we're talking about the Yehudim, right? They believed. Vo, meaning in him. So therefore, who had come to Miriam, when they saw what Yeshua did, they believed in him. All right, now let's read it. Birotam et asher asa Yahushua he'eminu vo. All right, now we're turning to 46, which of course is the mem again, and a vav, which has a value of 6. And then we have the letters. Vav, yod, shin, aleph, shin, resh, hey, lamed, kaf, vav, aleph, lamed, hey, pei, because it has a dot, resh, vav, shin, yod, mem sofit, vav, yod, gimel, yod, dalet, vav, lamed, hey, mem sofit. By knowing your letters so well that you can rattle them off, it's going to help a lot if you're just learning, right? Vayesh. Vayesh. Now, in this form, yesh can, as an adjective, can mean some. It can also mean it was necessary or there is. But in this case, some fits in, right? And some, asher, that, or it could be who or whom. And then we have halku. Halku. We know halak means to go, to walk, right? So therefore, the pronouns at the end, they went, in context. They walked, they went. El meaning to, ha, perushim, the Pharisees, vayagidu, vayagidu. So again, they, and now because it's got the yod and that, it's a completed action. It's like a past tense. They told. Right, so let's have a look. He gid is the verb to tell, to inform. they told. Lahem, meaning to them. The ham is them. And the English is, there were some of them who went to the Pharisees and told them. Now let's read that. V'yesh asher halku el ha-perushim vayagidu lahem. And now we have 46b, and it's an aleph, a tav, an aleph, a shin, a resh, an ayin, a sin, a hey, a yod, hey, vav, shin, and ayin. And it is et, grammar marker. Ashir, what? So they told what? It's got a grammar marker with it. Asa. Asa, meaning to do. He did. Yahushua, Yahushua, or Yahusha, and told them what Yeshua had done in context. Right, now let's read it. Et Ashir Asa Yahushua. Right, moving to 47. And we see it as 40 is the mem. Zion is 7. So on the left, Zion, Yod, Kuf, Hey, Yod, Lamed, Vav, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yod, Hey, Kaf, Hey, Nun, Yod, Mem, Safid, Vav, Hey, Pei, Resh, Vav, Shin, Yod, Mem, Safid, Aleph, Tav, Samek, Nun, Hey, Dalet, Resh, Yod, Nun, Safit. And now let's read it. Az, meaning then. Yak, he, lu. Yak, he, lu. They did gather. So let's see the word, and it's a root word here. Kahal. Kahal is a masculine noun for audience, gathering, community, congregation. And this, of course, is the verb form of it. And they did gather, or they gathered. They did gather. Rashi. Rashi. Rashi meaning the heads, because it comes from the word rosh, meaning head, right? Ha-kohanim. Ha-kohanim. The priests. The heads of the priests. The ha-perushim. And the Pharisees. Et grammar marker. Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin. Now grammar marker Sanhedrin. And we know what a Sanhedrin is down here. It's a feminine noun for the supreme judicial body or the religious council. So therefore the English says, then the chief priests and the Pharisees assembled a council. And we read it. Az yakhilu rashi ha-kohanim v'ha-perushim et Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin. Right, now we're in part B, and we have a Vav, a Yod, and a Aleph, a Mem, a Resh, a Vav, a Mem, a Hey, a Nun, an Ayin, a Sin, a Hey, a Kaf, a Yod, a Hey, a Aleph, Yod, Shin, Hey, Lamed, Zion, Hey, Ayin, Sin, Hey, Aleph, Tav, Vav, Tav, Hey, Resh, Bet, Hey. And it is Va-Yom-Ru. And they, that's the U, said, Ma, what? Na-a, say. We to do. What are we to do? And the nun can be as a we. Ki, for. And then it is ha-ish, meaning the man. Ha-la-zeh, for this. because ze means this. So I'm imagining it's almost like a question mark for this. The man for this. We would say for this man. O say. O say is like a participle, so it's doing, or he is doing. O tot. And we know that ot means a sign, so otot is signs. Har bay. And we know that the word here, rav, means much or many. So therefore, it means many, signs many. They assembled a council, Sanhedrin, and said, what shall we do? For this man does many signs. And now let's read it. Va yom ru ma na a say ki ha ish ha la ze o say o tot har bay. All right. And now we're into 48, which is a mem and, of course, a chet, the 8th letter of the alphabet. And then we have aleph, mem sofit, lamed, aleph, nun, kaf, lamed, aleph, hey, vav, kaf, lamed, mem sofit, yod, aleph, mem, yod, nun, vav, vayet, vav, vav, vayet, aleph, vav, hey, resh, vav, mem, yod, yod, and mem sofit. And then we read, im lo. Now, im can mean if, and then lo is not. You notice that the aleph is silent, so we just have the vowel mark, right? So if not, they're saying, nik la ehu, nikla ehu, which is we. There again, the nun can be a pronoun meaning we, and then we have confine him. So the who, of course, is him. Let's have a look. It says down here, kala, right? So we get the 3 letters there, kala. That's the root. It's a kal verb to incarcerate, to confine, or to imprison. So they're talking about imprisoning him, not just stopping him, but imprisoning him, right? If not, we confine him, kulam. Now we know that kol or kul can mean all, right? And of course, means them. So all of them. If not, we confine him, all of them, and then we get ya, aminu. Now, ya means an incomplete action, shall or will. And then we have amin, meaning to believe, and the u is they. They shall believe. Vo, meaning in him. U va u, and they will come. Right, so we know that va'u means, va means to come, so and they come. It could be translated as and they come, or they will come. Right, and then we have ha-ro-mi-yim. Ha-ro-mi-yim. And that's the Hebrew way of saying the Romans. So the English is, if we do not restrain him, and that's a very temperate way of saying it, but it literally meant they want to imprison him, I'd imagine, or get rid of him. All of them shall believe in him, and the Romans shall come. I also included the masculine noun here was kalei. Kalei means a masculine noun for prison, just so that we get the different forms of that word, so we might remember it next time, because in its form here, you may lose the root, and we need to remember the roots separately. So let's let's read it. Im lo nikla'ehu kulam ya'aminu vo va'u haromiyim. And now in part B, and it's a Vav Lamed Kuf Chet Vav Gimel Mem Safit Aleph Tav Aleph Dalet Mem Tav Nun Vav Vav Gimel Mem Safit Aleph Tav Ayin Mem Nun and Vav. Now let's read it. V'lak Chu. V'lak Chu. Now, the word here is lekach. If we look at the root in the middle, and down here, lekach is the verb to take, to acquire. So therefore we get and, that's the vav, and they is the pronoun at the end, take, and they take, gum also, et grammar marker, ad matenu. Admatenu. So this is, we know that Adama down here, Adama is a feminine noun for land, earth, ground, soil. It's almost like a singular, and this is more like the plural. Admatenu, meaning our land. The gum is also, and also, looking down here, gum is a conjunction meaning also, in addition, even, furthermore. So it can be used in different forms. And also, et grammar marker, amenu. Now, means people, and nu means our. So it means our people. The Romans shall come and take both our land and our people. So let's read it. V'lakchu gam et ad matenu v'gam et amenu. All right. Now we're finished now. So we're up to that point where they're considering what to do about Yeshua because he did this great miracle, and they're afraid of how the people will follow him and they will lose their position, and because things are not running smoothly as they hope, they think the Romans will come and wipe out the nation, right? So we have a Mem, 40, Dalet, 4, and then we have Vayetze, and came out, Hamet, the dead, the Yadaev, and his hands, the Raglev, and his feet, Kerukot, Kerukot meaning wrapped, the Takrikin, meaning in burial shroud, in a burial shroud, Ufanaev, and his face. So let's have a look. And came out the dead, and his hands, and his feet, wrapped in burial shroud, and his face. And then we continue. Lutim, covered. Besudar, in a shawl. Vayomer, and he said, that's Yeshua, Alehem, unto them, Yahushua, that's who's speaking, Hatiru, meaning you unravel, Oto, meaning him. And so, and his face was covered in a shawl, and he said unto them, Yahushua, you unravel him. And then we have the yelek, and let go, let him go. Le darko, to his way, because direct means way, and let him go to his way. Right, now we have a Mem 40 and a He 5, and then we have the Rabbim and many, men from Ha-Yehudim, the Jews, Asher, that, Ba'u, they came, El to Miriam, and many from the Yehudim, which they had come to Miriam, Birotam, in their seeing, et grammar marker, Asher, what, Asa, he did, Yahushua, He'eminu, they believed, Vo, in him. In them seeing what, grammar marker what, he did, Yahushua, they believed in him. And we have a Mem 40, Vav 6. Vayesh, and some, Asher, that, Halku, they went. Oh, they went, they walked, El to Ha-Perushim, the Pharisees, Va-Yagidu, and they told, Lahem, to them. And some that they went to the Pharisees, and they told to them. Et grammar marker, Asher, what, Asa, he did, Yahushua. Grammar marker, what, he did, Yahushua. Now we have a Mem 40, Zion 7. As, then, Yak, Hilu, they did gather. Rashi, the heads, Ha-Kohanim, of the priests, the Ha-Perushim, and the Pharisees, et, grammar marker, Sanhedrin, a council, or a religious body, we could say, right? Then they did gather the heads of the priests and the Pharisees, grammar marker, a Sanhedrin. Va-yomru, and they said, Ma, what? Na'aseh, we to do. Ki, for, Ha-ish, the man, Ha-lazeh, for this. O-se, is doing. O-tot, signs. Harbe, many, or much. And they said, what are we to do? For the man, for this, is doing signs many. And then we have a Mem 40, Chet 8. Im lo, if not, Nik la ehu, we incarcerate him. You could say imprison, confine, kulam, all of them. Ya'aminu, they shall believe, vo, in him, uva'u, and they come. Ha-ro-mi-yim, the Romans. If not, we confine him, all of them, they shall believe in him, and they will come, the Romans. And we have the lakhu, and they take, gum also, et grammar marker, ad matenu, our lands. It's almost like our lands. The gum, and also et grammar marker, amenu, meaning our people. And they take also grammar marker our land and also grammar marker our people. And again, we come to our Nikud. Right, so let's look at the first line. Remember, this was a vowel, a vav, but with the dot above it, it's an O sound, as in cholam. Cho, that's the sound we get from it, right? And this is called a shva. Shva. Sometimes it can be vocal, sometimes not. Right, so it's called a shva, 2 vertical dots. And that could be where you get an end of a syllable and the beginning of another one. And then this is called se-gol. So we get that sound, se. This is zere. It's a longer E sound and often transliterated as an EI, but I prefer to just remember it as a longer E sound. Ze. And then this is a pa-tak. Pa-tak. So it's a short A sound. And this one's a ka-mats. So it's a longer A sound. And that's all we need to remember with those ones. And of course, we now have our useful resources again at beithamashiach.com. Very useful source, which gives us the ancient Hebrew, the modern Hebrew, the transliteration, color codes, Greek, and also transliteration of the Greek and the color codings. And so it's a very useful resource for practicing your Hebrew. And of course, we can't go past www.doitinhebrew.com dictionary. Very useful when we're going through it, but it is modern Hebrew. So sometimes if words are not modern, it's a little bit harder to work out the meanings. So then we of course have our, we were in Mem, which was 40. And I think we did from 43, which was a Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zion, Chet. Yeah, we went to 8. But let us not forget the ones we don't use much, like Tav has a value of 400, Shin has a value of 300, Resh has a value of 200, and Kuf has a value of 100. And that brings us to the end of this half-hour session, and we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we pray that you are blessed through going through the Hebrew. May you be consistent and keep at it, because that's all it's about, a bit at a time and consistency. So we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we wish you a Shavua Tov, a good 7, a good week.